Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. This is Petal. Hope you are all well wherever you are, whatever it is you're doing today. Hope all is well. Happy Friday. If you're excited as I am for the weekend, although I work this weekend, so I'll be working, but I like my work. So there you go. But what is going on in the world? Well, our faves, well, they have actually been quiet, and I love this photo. I still haven't gotten over Nigeria, so of course this is a photo from Nigeria when they were, I think, watching those little kids do basketball and all that stuff. So, but yeah, before I start, let me say hello to all of my friends in the chat. Hello. Khadijah is here. Fancy is here. Ghislaine is here. Hello, guys. Paulette and Lorna. Who else is here? Maureen. Oh, is it Maureen Danian? Hello, Maureen. How are you? Emma Day is here. Auntie Jane. Connie, hello. Hello, Connie Mama, hanging out with us from Switzerland. Who else is here in the chat? Hopefully more of our friends will join us at some point, and we'll say hello to them when they come in. Oh yeah, I see Lakivia has just joined us. Hello, welcome, guys. If you are here, as the little scrolly banner at the bottom says, subscribe. If you're here maybe for the first time, maybe not, but if you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe and click the notification bell so you know when we drop a video. Please like and share this video, and as that would be great, actually. Help us grow the channel. That would be amazing. A lot of stuff are happening apart from our faves. I know Church Nelly had surgery yesterday. So I know we're all praying for Church Nelly, and then we're all praying for who else? Someone else. Oh my goodness. I completely forgot who we were praying for at this second. My brain just went blank. Her name is in my head, and I've gone blank. So as soon as my brain comes back, I will let you know who it is we're praying for. I apologize. I'm just having a brain freeze there at the moment. So anyways, right now I remember we're praying for Church Nelly and everyone else. Gabriella, I think, is it Gabriella? We're praying for. Oh no. I will remember. It's having one of those days. So, anyways, as soon as I remember, I will let you know. So, anyways, guys, all of you who are coming in, welcome. And yeah. What is happening? Lakivia is saying, I prayed for Church Nelly this morning. Yes, please pray for her. And I don't know if she is still in the hospital, if she is recovering at home. So if anybody knows, please let me know. I have not heard. So, but I know she had surgery. And so, yeah, that would be great. Let's see. Yeah. Anyways, back to our faves. Again, they have been quiet. They have been, absolutely quiet, doing whatever it is they're doing under their tree. And I'm sure that they are, working on whatever it is they're working on. And so I look forward to whatever it is they're going to show us. I know it's very, very, it's going to be very exciting with Meghan's brands coming out, ARO, and her show for Netflix, and Harry's Polo, and all the other stuff that we don't know about. And so, yeah, I'm very, very, I'm very, very excited to see what they are going to show us. And Lorna says, it was on the 5th. So it was 2 days ago, not yesterday. Oh, that's right. I haven't been on here. It felt like it was yesterday. I was here the day before yesterday. I was here. I apologize. It was June the 5th. Yes, the day after the last episode I did. Man, the days went by fast. My word. So it was not the 6th, it was on the 5th that her surgery was. And Raffaella's brother, yes, Raffaella's brother is who, I'm so sorry, I said Gabrielle, like goodness. Brain freeze today. um, for the most of the day, I was thinking like today is Saturday, and I was like, no, today's Friday, pedal. It just, I don't know. Today's one of those days. So yes, Raffaella's brother. So we were praying for him as well. So please continue to pray. I don't know if anybody has any word. I don't see Raffaella on here today. So if anyone has any information, if she's on any of the other podcasts and have any updated information since she's not here, that would be most appreciated. But we were praying for her. Oh, wait, Lola Love says, Church Nelly is doing great. She was on the Duchess Success this morning. Oh, well, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. She's doing so well. She was on a podcast earlier today. So perfect, 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 perfect. Oh, that is so good to hear. Whenever I hear surgery, I like feel panicked. It just is one of those things that is like, ooh. So it's great to hear that she's doing well. So wonderful. And let's see. Lakivia says the UK media is talking about Harry and he is in America. That poor wedding. Oh dear. Are they still on that nonsense? I'm like, I have blocked the majority of the British media, so I don't pay attention to what they're doing anymore. I'm like, that is just so I know there was all, I mean, didn't Harry say sometime, I think wasn't it last year he said he wasn't going? I'm like, but he already said he wasn't going, so I don't know what is there to talk about. So yeah. Mrs. S says, hello, Pedal. Hello, family. I am listening as I entertain my daughter and son-in-law who are visiting from California. Oh, that's wonderful. Well, thank you, Mrs. S, for giving us a little bit of your time as you entertain your Cali family. So that is wonderful. Have a fantastic, fantastic time. So yes, thank you. Raphael is here. Raphael says, my dear friends, my dear Paddle, good afternoon from the, you're at the hospital. How is your brother? Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, Raphael. I was just having a brain freeze as to who we were praying for. And I'm so sorry. I was just reminded was your brother. And so can you tell us how your brother is, if that's okay? I mean, no pressure if you don't want to say, but I hope that he is well. I'm hoping that it's, better news than it was. So please let us know if that's possible. If you don't want to say, that's fine. Don't want to, no pressure at all. But we will continue praying for you. Lakivia says, Lakivia, I think you're it at the moment, says, we are praying for you and your brother in the hospital. Yes. So, Faith says, Church Nelly's surgery was successful. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. That is wonderful to hear. So, yes. Let's see. Lorna says, that wedding was this morning. It's on YouTube. It is. The bride struggled with her veil and the wind. The dress was like Meghan's with a boat neck. Oh, okay. I didn't realize they would put it on YouTube, but that's interesting. That's a different take, that's a different way to go. She says the bride struggled with her veil well, it is UK. I mean, was it raining? Wouldn't be shocked if it would be raining either. That would be totally right there. That would totally UK. So there. It's always a little bit hairy on wedding days. But I hope they had fun or are having fun. If it's not over yet, I hope they had a great time. Weddings are always stressful, so you just want to have We just want the bride and the groom to just have a good time. Whatever is going, madness goes around weddings. I used to work in catering, so we used to cater a lot of weddings, and oh my goodness, from those experiences, I've decided if I ever get married, obviously I'm single. If I ever get married, I'm getting married on the beach with like three of my friends bare feet, and we may have snacks on the beach, and that's it. After catering weddings, it is drama all the time. And so I don't know how people survive weddings. I cannot. From what I've seen, I literally don't know how the bride and groom survive to the end. It is craziness. So what I just, hope they had a good time and just party and relax and, whatever else they're doing. So I wish them well. So yeah. But I'm glad our faves are not there, that they're keeping themselves in California and keeping and holding on to their peace. So yeah. Let's see what else you guys are saying before we jump into some meat and potatoes of what is happening in and around the royal world. Look, Lakivia, I think you're it. She says, congratulations. I pray your wedding turns out good. I'm assuming you mean theirs. So I hope it was wonderful too. Mrs. S says the bride's shoes ruined the dress. Oh, what was she thinking? The dress looked great from the back, but when she turned around, oh no. Oh dear. I'm afraid to look. I am afraid to look. So oh my goodness. Well, okay. Interesting. Karen M says, oh, hey, Karen M, or awesome moderator, says Willie was brought in on a minivan. Wait, he showed up, or he was brought to the church in a minivan? Well, that's okay. I mean, hey, minivans are good. I like minivans. But that's interesting. Okay. Was he brought there by himself, or was it like a group of people there shuttling them? That could be it. I mean, the guy who's getting married is much richer than any of them. And so he's like, you know what? They can't complain when he asks them to do something or shuttle into a minivan. They can't say anything. So there you go. Let's see. Lottie says the wedding was beautiful, but I like Meghan best. Oh, well, there you go. She's our faves. Of course, hers was the best. We are biased and we are very petty here. So yes, we lead into that. So that I love that, Lottie. So, but I'm glad her wedding was beautiful. That's wonderful. Again, I'm telling you, that's the only thing I ever pray for a bride and groom is that please enjoy, no matter what's going on around you, please enjoy yourself. Please try to find joy out of this it's supposed to be a celebration. So yeah. So I'm glad to hear that. Let's say Tasia says, I don't know what will take Harry to or make Harry to realize how dangerous UK is. Dangerous for his family. I hope the access he is desperate for is for himself alone. And we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, look, sometimes we have to let people find their own way, and we can see it from a distance. But again, people need, he needs to find his own way, and he'll figure it out as he goes. Of course, we are here like, no, Harry, stay away. Don't ever go back to that place. And he doesn't see it that way. That's it, that's his home. It's hard again. When it's your birth home and the people that you were birthed to, it's hard to let go. And so we got to give him space to work it out for himself. And hopefully one day he will see it. But again, we have to give him that kind of space. Karen Lovely. Hello, Karen Lovely says, I did not watch the wedding. It was not worth my time. There you go. See, we all have different things. So Karen is like, I got to do my nails. I got to wash my hair. I got to have a pedicure. Too many more important things than to deal with a wedding right now. Look, Lakivia, I'm just dropping it here. You're it for the day. Lakivia's like, the wedding was boring. Well, yeah, some people are like, it's beautiful. Some are like, it's boring. So we all have our different takes on things. Um, so thank you, Lakivia. She's not having it. Uh, I see. Yeah, yeah, you meant theirs. Yes. Yeah, I'm not getting married, so yeah, no point wishing me. At least hopefully one day again on the beach. No big ceremonies or any of that stuff. No, never. I'm completely away from that part. Let's see. Um Karen M says, brought to the church and he didn't look happy. Oh, I'm assuming you're talking about William. He didn't look happy about being, oh, well. But again, it's William. So that's William's default. His default is I am not happy. I am, he is enraged as usual. So that's default William. Says William is too lazy to walk a few steps. Well, where did he have to walk to? Get out of the van and walk to the church? Or walk into the church? I mean, I would assume that's would be what it is. So let's see. And Louis says the shoes had blue tassels, like what's seen in bed slippers. So it could be something borrowed, probably. Well, hey, that's interesting. And maybe maybe it's bed slippers, and she's probably comfortable. I mean, is it like a shoe with heels? I'm very interested in seeing these shoes. So yeah, but blue tassels, very interesting. Sounds very older, so maybe it was something borrowed. That could be it too. Let's see. She wanted. It's a blue. Lola says I don't understand why the bride wore those blue suede shoes with her wedding gown. Maybe it meant something to her. But as you know, I maybe as Anne was just saying, maybe it's a something borrowed. I guess I didn't realize. I knew like in my country they did like the something borrowed, something what is it? Something new, something old, and something borrowed, something like that. So yeah, I'm now realizing that they hold on to those. Oh, maybe that's where we got that tradition from. Who knows? We have so many things handed down to us from the British. So maybe that's where we got it from. So yeah, maybe that was her something borrowed. Who knows? It'd be very interesting. I don't know if is she a public figure? Like, does she give interviews and stuff? I don't really know anything about this woman at all, so I don't really know if we'll ever know why she wore a blue suede shoe. Didn't Elvis sing about the blue suede shoe or something? Or did he steal that song from somebody else? I guess. I don't know. Let's see. Lakivia, you're it. Charles is still paying Prince Andrew's security. Of course he is. Of course he is. It's what he's always been doing. We figured after the Queen died, that's exactly what would happen. Oh, Rafaela, you are in a hospital and you're still giving. Ay, Rafaela, you're killing me. You're killing me. Thank you so much, my love. Thank you. What a heart. She's buying a soup. She's in a hospital with her brother and she's thinking of me and thinking of the woman. Thank you so much for your super sticker. uh, let's see. Mrs. S says, Bald Mom is trying too hard to be a regular guy and he's failing miserably. Goodness, grievances. As with most things he does. So, not surprising there. Let's see. Lorna says she's talking to Lottie. I think it's the tradition of wearing something borrowed and something blue. Oh, there you go. Now that makes a lot of sense, guys. Something borrowed and something blue. I forgot about the blue part. There you go. So I think I'm telling you, this is why I love this community. We've cracked why she's wearing a blue suede shoe with tassels. Interesting. I'm very interesting to see these shoes. I'm not even a shoe person, but I am very interested now to see these shoes with the blue tassels. V says, I haven't wanted a wedding either. I will probably look up the dress to see how it looked. Ah, there you go. Interesting to see. And someone said what it looked like Megan's, but with a boat neck. Didn't Megan has a boat neck? I don't know. I'll look and see what her dress looks like. Maybe I don't understand what that is. So let's see. Anne Lewis says, Lorna Williams, the wedding dress, the back was opened. Megan was the best. Of course. The wind made it impossible to see the train and the veil. Oh, what was it that bad? Wow, the wind was that bad. That's sad on your wedding day. You want everything to be perfect, but you cannot control nature. So there you go. Hope everything else was beautiful for her. Let's see. Everybody is not feeling her shoes. They look beautiful, but the bride had on thick black. Wait, it was black? I thought someone said it was blue. Thick black Mary Jane shoes. However, they look beautiful. Now I'm really, really interested in these shoes. And well, Lottie thinks the shoes are beautiful. So there you go. I wasn't planning on talking about a wedding, but here we are. Like all talking about the Duke of Westminster's wedding. So yeah. Coco says the Duke of Westminster has Cameroon descent. Oh, on his mother's side. They're descendants of Afro-Russian Alexander Pushkin. You know, I was looking at that Duke of Westminster's hair. And I thought, that's interesting. Huh. That is very interesting. I did not know this. See, this is my thing I learned today. I did not know this. So now I'm going to have to look at this Duke of Westminster all over again. I wasn't planning to. I was just planning to look at the shoes, but now I got to have to take a really good look at him. Very, very interesting. Huh. I have to check out his mother as well. I never thought about her, but okay. Very interesting. Huh. Because it's, those people on their hair is a dead giveaway there. So yeah, let's see. Lorna says, did WikiLeaks just find out that the usher is a job that they give relatives and friends that the bride and groom are obligated to include in their It was very interesting that he's an usher, but hey, hey, at least he gave him something to do. Probably the first time he's worked in his whole life. So there you go. At least we can thank the Duke of Westminster for giving William a job. And I think we just looked at that. Something new and something new, something blue, something borrowed. Oh, okay, so that's it. Something new, something blue, and something borrowed. That's the thing for the wedding. So yes, thank you, Mrs. S, as well. Let's see a couple more about the wedding that I had no intentions of talking about, but here we are. Let's see. Cupcake and Tiffy Gotcha World. Oh wow, I had never seen you on here before. Welcome. Let's see, she says, or she, I'm assuming it's she. You can let me know, Cupcake. The bride and flower girls wore thick, chunky black shoes. There must be a reason. Oh, wow. Okay. So it's, when someone mentioned the suede and the blue tassels, I assumed it was a blue suede shoes. I didn't realize it was black. So now I am like, okay, I got to see these shoes. Mrs. S is like, something blue on your feet as a bride is so wrong on so many levels. Okay. Thank you, Mrs. S. I know if I get married, I shall not be wearing blue on my feet. That's for sure. I have to remember these conversations. Let's see. What else? Auntie Jane, people are just not feeling this girl's shoes. Her shoes is the problem. Lola Love says there are photos of her wearing those shoes. They're not Mary Jane's. They had a bow on them. I don't know what Mary Jane's are, but okay, we know according to Lola that they're not that. So there you go. Um, people are not feeling her shoes. This is so funny. Oh, 17 months. Thank you so much, Lorna, for supporting the channel. 17 months. I appreciate you being here, being a part of the Two Cents Crew. Thank you so much. Says most of the young generation are not interested in big weddings. 60% of young Canadians prefer to put down the payment on a house, and I don't blame them. Weddings are expensive, and a lot of them are just not worth the time. I mean, not, some people are very traditional, and I'm not downing that at all. You do you. But I totally understand this because that is my thing. I couldn't, yeah. And again, I worked in catering for a while, and after catering some of these weddings, I'm like, yeah, no, I'll just do it on the beach, bare feet with a couple of my friends. We'll have some hors d'oeuvres on the beach, and that be it. So there. But anyways, away from wedding stories, again, congratulations to the Duke of Westminster and his new bride. I don't know what her name is, but congratulations again. Hope they had a wonderful, wonderful time. But back to our faves who are under their tree somewhere in Montecito. Prince Harry had some great news, and I'm sure by now some of you we're probably on the other podcast, Duchess of Success or Baron. I'm not sure if Baron, he may have covered this yesterday. I don't know. I hadn't gotten a chance to listen to their podcast. But if you, just in case you didn't know, Prince Harry, a judge has granted Prince Harry permission to appeal his security case against the Home Office, against the British government, really, because the last judge who was going into retirement, which I don't understand why you would allow a judge going into retirement to rule or to even oversee this case. I never understood it. And so he ruled that, RAVEC, which is the secret organization, very secretive and very arrogant, I have to say, organization that decides on the security for the royal family and also other high profile people in the UK, that they had every right to pull Harry's security and do this kind of bespoke thing that they're doing with Harry whenever he needs to come to the UK, or at least go to the UK, wherein he has to give them 28 days to figure out his security, which is usually not enough. And so the judge ruled that they had every right. So Harry had lost his case, and Harry is like, I'm appealing, and he did. And the new judge, has granted him permission to go ahead and appeal part of the case. And so, and I just forgot to bring in the piece from that legal paper from the court, and where it says the part that they allowing him to appeal, which is the most important part anyway, which is the part that we have talked ad nauseum about on this channel as to why, which is what I couldn't understand, how the judge could have seen that and read that and understood that and still rule in favor of RAVEC. And again, with these, I didn't even want to, because it's ageist, and I don't even want to say that, but these older generation is so for whatever the royals do, it's kind of like it's okay, and they don't tend to rule against it. And it's just like, it's so frustrating. And so again, I'm really happy Harry appealed this, because any person with eyes could see this is problematic. And so this is from Reuters Legal, and says Prince Harry has been given permission to appeal against the rejection of his legal challenge to the British government's decision to take away his police protection when he is in Britain, his lawyer said. These are little clips from the article. It says, I'm going to jump past the first paragraph because I literally just read that. It says in February, the High Court in London ruled that decision that decision was lawful and dismissed Harry's case, and in April refused him permission to challenge that ruling in the higher court. However, the Court of Appeals has now said it will hear his challenge following a direct application from Harry's lawyers, who said Harry has been granted permission to appeal. And this is a little bit about the appeal. It says, in granting permission for an appeal, Judge David Bean, this is a new judge, said he was persuaded, not without hesitation, that Harry's challenge under grounds that Ravik had not followed its own stated policy had a real prospect of success. And when a judge says you have a real prospect of success, usually people win those cases. And so again, this is the part that I could never understand, how the judge could read this, understand what Ravik's own policy is, and still rule against Harry. This is a part that Harry has been pleading this whole time. And this is a little bit more about it. I'm just going to move my banner here so that I can read properly. It says, and this is from Pierre Press. And I'll also move my little brand thing there. I should take that out. There we go. And so this is from Press Association. It says Ravik has delegated responsibility from the Home Office over provisions to protect the security arrangements for members of the royal family and others with involvement from Metropolitan Police and Cabinet Office and Royal Household and the Royal Household. After the ruling earlier this year, a legal spokesman for Harry said he intended to appeal, adding, the Duke is not asking for preferential treatment, but for a fair and lawful application of Ravik's own rules, ensuring that he receives the same consideration as others in accordance with Ravik's own written policy. In February 2020, Ravik failed to apply its own written policy to the Duke of Sussex and excluded him from a particular risk analysis. The Duke's case is that the so-called bespoke process that applies to him is no substitute for a risk analysis. The Duke of Sussex hopes he will obtain justice from the courts of appeal and makes no further comment while the case is ongoing. And again, this part, and that's my little arrow thingy there. And this is the thing that Harry has been beating and claiming all along. This is the part that really is the most important to him, is the risk analysis part, because Ravik's own policy state that is part of how they decide who gets security and the type of security that they have. This risk assessment, if you don't want risk analysis, if they don't do a risk analysis, how are they then going to be able to decide properly who needs security and who doesn't? And someone that is as high risk as Harry is, one being son of the king, being military, and then the British press has basically sent just about every troll and horrible person after him and his family. Harry has one of the highest risk among anyone in the royal family. Yet Ravik excluded this. If there was a interview with one of, I think he was like second command at the Metropolitan Police, I think that is where he was, that did an interview about just the horrible things that he's seen, their intelligence towards Harry and Meghan. And he talked about the danger that they were in. And for Ravik to not do this risk analysis is criminal. And then for the judge to know all of that and still rule in favor of Ravik is ridiculous. And amazingly enough, the two people, because as we know, the press secretaries for both the Queen, Sir Edward Young, and King Charles Clive Alderton, they were also part of Ravik, which, of course, one of the things Harry was brought before the court is that when he was told about Ravik, No one told him that the royal family that their people were part of Ravik. He had no idea. What was told to him was that it's an independent um, organization, independent of the royal family. That so they were the ones, and basically that is how the press had also been reporting it, that no, the royal family has no it say about who gets security and how they get security. That is what they have been reporting forever, that the royal household had no say at all, which was a complete lie, because Ravik is the government, the Metropolitan Police, and the royal family. All three are the ones that make up Ravik. And so they basically lied, not basically, they really out and out lied to Harry about it. And then he found out about it. And that's how this whole big stuff. But Edward Young and Clive Alderton, who were the press secretaries for the then former, for the late Queen and King Charles, they were the ones that were supposed to do the risk analysis. The same ones who took away Harry's security are the ones who were supposedly, so you know why they did not do this risk assessment. They did not want them to have, they don't care about Harry's health. They don't care whether he's alive or dead, obviously, because if they cared, they would do this risk assessment. And seeing that they were part of Ravik, when Ravik stripped the security, you know how they feel. You know how the royal family feel. And if they were the secretaries of the Queen and also King Charles, who, the Queen was up in age and this was really King Charles was all up in this. So he would have known that his own son did not do a risk analysis for his own son. And that was okay with him. It was just incredible. So for me, just again, going back, that's why I never understood how this judge could see this. Again, this man is an elderly man retiring. He's probably like, I'm out of here. I just want this over. I don't want any, I don't want any drama. I want this over. I want this done. I want to go. And so I am really happy that Harry, can do it. But again, I don't even remember who it is that said it here in the comments, so we've said it over and over and over. That said, Harry, don't trust any of these people. I mean, I'm glad Harry always has his own security with him anyway, his U.S. security, but I wouldn't want any of those people quote unquote protecting me or my kids. I would never trust any of those people in the Metropolitan Police. And we know from their WhatsApp and all of those that are on these WhatsApp group, all these racist things they've said about Meghan and their WhatsApp group. I mean, would you really want to trust any of these people to protect you or your family? I wouldn't. So, but for him, I'm glad that, again, this is not only for this is also so that later down the road, nobody could say that Harry didn't want his security, that he didn't fight for his security, that, like they did for, to this day, saying about Princess Diana, like, oh, no, she's the one that didn't want security. That's why she's not alive today. So this is on official court documents. So I, for that sake, I am happy that Harry, and I just want Harry to win the case, whether he just, whatever comes out of it, I want Harry to win this case. And so, yeah. And then I want to see what kind of security, how that would change from what it is now. So, yeah, because again, this 28-day thing means that the royal family will always know and give the press time to know when it's, it's crazy the things that can happen there. So, yeah. Very, very interesting. So, I don't know if they're going to have, in-person testimony or it's just going to be written. I don't know how this all is going to play out. From the document I looked at, it looked like it wasn't going to be like an oral thing where, people testifying or any of that stuff. So I'm not really sure how this all play out, but I am just going to pray for Harry that he is successful at it. So yeah. And Louis says, I find it a coincidence Harry granted an appeal. This is on the back of Kate will not return to duties to restore security will come with strings. They need Harry and Meghan to stay relevant after his treatment. It's very interesting. I mean, I don't, again, I don't know personally if it had anything to do with Kate. Could be, yeah, definitely. But actually, yeah, again, I don't know. This ruling, apparently it was in place since May, and it was embargoed for some reason and only revealed yesterday. So I don't know the reason. So yeah, yeah, the Kate thing, I mean, I'm just gonna leave that alone until Kate decides to pop up somewhere or somebody says something about truthfully about what is going on with her. So yeah, but it's very interesting, and it is indeed very interesting. So, but I'm glad that, as long as Harry wins, yeah, that's yeah. Let's see what else is going on. This is happening. It's one of those things where the Washington Post, their motto is democracy dies in darkness. Literally, that's their, if you went on their website, that's what you'll see. Washington Post, democracy dies in darkness. And at this point, I feel like Washington Post has created the darkness and it's trying to kill democracy. This is where they are at this moment. And I say this with them and many in the US press because we've talked ad nauseum among the squad. I mean, we have been contacting different news outlets all over when they hire people from the UK press. And we have seen that countless times, whether it's the Roya Nikas of the world or the Camilla Tominys of the world or the Robert Jobsons of the world with the US press. And I swear to you, this is how it feels. And maybe it's not, but this is how it comes across. If you're white and you have a British accent, you're hired. And this is how it feels because it seems like nobody in the US press, they don't do due diligence. They do not look through people's backgrounds. It's like, yep, you're white and you have a British accent. Yes, we welcome you into our news organizations. And so many times, the last, the few years, we have had to literally contact the NBCs, the CBS, the CNNs of the world and be like, this is what and literally send them receipts about what the history of these people. I mean, we had to have CNN pull down that whole nonsense after Harry and Meghan's docuseries, not docuseries, Harry and Meghan's interview with Oprah, where Max Foster did this whole lying thing about that interview, and CNN had to end up pulling it, and they had to pull it because we lambasted them with receipts as to the lies. And again, it's the same pattern over and over and over. And it feels like the US media, they ever since Trump, before Trump, the US had such a great, others may disagree, but compared to others like the UK, they're really focused on journalism. Then Trump came into office and that went out the window. It is about anything I can get where I do not have to apply my journalistic integrity, and I just want to get clicks. And this is where we are with the US press. It is gross. So, case in point, this story. Washington Post publisher tried to kill a story about him. It wasn't the first time. And this is a story from NPR is reporting now. It is all over the U.S. press. Tons of people are picking up on what is going on with the Washington Post. If you've been, on this channel, we've talked about this quite a few times since last year when this dude was hired. Since December, we've been talking about this. And we've talked about this a couple of other times during the year. But this is all blown up again. Will Lewis, that's the dude in the picture there pointing his finger. Washington Post has written twice since this spring about allegations that have cropped up in British court proceedings involving its new publisher and CEO, Will Lewis. In both instances, Lewis pushed his newsroom chief hard not to run the story. According to several people at the newspaper, then executive editor Sally Busby emerged rattled from both discussions in March and in May. Lewis's efforts were first reported by the New York Times and second post The second Post article in May, which was thorough and detailed, ran just days before Lewis announced his priorities for the paper, which is which is financially troubled. Another clip from the article. It says on Thursday, a spokesman from Lewis denied that the publisher had pressured his editor, saying, "This is not true. This is not what happened." Busby did not recuse herself from the story, which were overseen by managing editor Mattia Gold, and drew upon reporters from three desks. Lewis did not block the story from running. He unexpectedly announced Busby's departure on Sunday night, about 3.5 weeks after the longer story ran, along with a restructuring of the newsroom leadership structure. It is not the first time that Lewis has engaged in intense efforts to head off coverage about him in ways that many U.S. journalists would consider deeply inappropriate. And what is happening? Lewis, and this again was reported last year, along with Prince Harry's other cases that's come out. Lewis, he is part of the phone hacking scandal in the UK, part of Prince Harry's court case. Lewis was hired by Rupert Murdoch. He used to work with the Telegraph. Rupert Murdoch hired him from the Telegraph to come over when the News of the World and stuff were, when they were being charged with the crimes of phone hacking and all of those things. Lewis was hired to come and sort of, take the reins of stuff to minimize the damage and all of that stuff that was happening to News of the World and Rupert Murdoch's empire in the UK, whatever. What he is accused of is overseeing the deletion of thousands of emails, hiding, covering up what the Murdoch empire has done. And some of those were alleged that emails that had to do with with hacking Prince Harry and others, hacking, blagging, the whole bit that the News of the World and stuff did. And so part of Harry's case is naming Will Lewis as the person who oversaw the deletion of all those emails. To whitewash his career, Rupert Murdoch basically hired him to the U.S. to work at the Wall Street Journal and all of that stuff. So this dude has been working in the U.S. for a couple of years or a few years now. So he kind of knows, and even though he came from the UK press and their cesspool hacking and all of those stuff, he's been working in the US long enough to know the standards of the US press, the integrity of, what was really, and people are still trying to maintain the integrity of how the US press work. And so because he basically got away scotch-free in the UK, this dude is trying to do the same thing in the US. And this is what this whole hubbub is about. That here is this guy who has this history and literally is named in an active court case. Again, didn't just happen yesterday. They knew this. The Washington Post hired, we'll even get to when he was hired and all of that. They hired him, and again, either they did not do their due diligence with this guy, either they just ignored his past, whatever. But again, he is named in this active court case, and he has been trying to cover it up because as Harry's court case is going through Britain, the US outlets are reporting it, and they're reporting that he is part of that. So how the US press work is, even if you are the publisher of this news outlet, if you are doing something wrong, if you are involved in some kind of illegal activity, or as in his case, named in a court case where you are probably someone who has been oversaw the deletion of emails that you were specifically told to preserve for the court, you cannot block your news outlet, even if you are the editor and publisher of that news outlet. You cannot block that publisher. You cannot block your editors from writing and publishing about you. And this is what he has been doing. The editor was trying to write it, Sally Busby, and he tried to get her to stop. And because she didn't stop and they published it, few days later, 3 weeks later, he announced that she is no longer there. He tried to pressure her to get a demotion and she refused and left. And so this whole thing is now blown up in the Washington Post's face. And this guy has been trying to do exactly what he did in the UK to try to cover it. And this is how the UK works. And so David Folkenfleck, who wrote this article for NPR, this is his encounter with Will Lewis trying to cover this up. It's David says, in December, I wrote the first comprehensive piece based on a few documents cited in a London courtroom alleging that Lewis had helped cover up a scandal involving widespread criminal practices at media mogul Rupert Murdoch's British tabloid. Lewis has previously denied the allegations. At the time, Lewis had just been named the publisher and CEO by the Washington Post owner Jeff Bezos, but had not yet started. In several conversations, that's with him, David and Lewis, in several conversations, Lewis repeatedly and heatedly offered to give me an exclusive interview after the Post about the Post's future, as long as I dropped the story about the allegation. At the time, the same spokesman who worked directly for Lewis from the UK has advised me since his days at Wall Street Journal, confirmed to me that an explicit offer was on the table. Drop the story, get the interview. NPR published the story nonetheless. On Thursday, the spokesman declined to comment about the offer. Lewis has now named one of his colleagues at the Telegraph. I kid you not. He has now hired one of his colleagues at the Telegraph who helped him land a major and controversial scoop that led to Post primary news reporting that led to Post primary news reporting. That's Bob Winnett, the Telegraph Media Group deputy editor, who, like Lewis, is British. At the Telegraph, the two journalists arranged a pay to source of £110,000 for a database detailing inappropriate expenses of British lawmakers at taxpayers' cost. It was hailed a huge story, leading to resignations and reforms, but it violated a key component of major U.S. news outlet ethics codes against paying sources. Lewis was to help coordinate with Scotland Yard and parliamentary investigations. This is another quote from the article. Lewis was to help coordinate with Scotland Yard and parliamentary investigators. Instead, attorneys for Prince Harry, Hollywood star Hugh Grant, and several other former British government officials, hang on one second, said Lewis stood at the center of an effort to cover up the company executive knowledge of those practices. In particular, Lewis is accused of giving the green light for the deletion of millions, not thousands, but millions of emails after authority had asked for the company to retain records for its investigation. So again, this is basically the same thing we were just talking about. It's like, he was asked to retain those records, specifically asked to retain them. They deleted millions of emails. So now Harry's court case, they cannot have the relevant emails from the company that they need to, for the case, which again, the judge should be penalizing them for. And not only that, Lewis has gone and he has now hired, because he's now, pushed the executive editor, Sally Busby, out. He has now gone and hired someone that he worked with at the Telegraph. I mean, the glorified tabloid Telegraph that he worked with, where they did this thing where they paid people for for basically paid a source for information. In American press, that is a no-no. There is no paying sources in America. That's what it's so funny. Omid Scobie, when he was talking about the difference between the reason why he works for American press instead of British press is for this very reason. American press do not pay sources for information. British press do that. And so it's very interesting that he hired the person in the UK that he did that with to now be working with him at Washington Post. And it's one of those things that it's like, wait a minute. This guy, again, has been working in the US press for a long time. He knows the standards here, and he's still perpetuating that. So who now would really trust anything coming out of the Washington Post where he is the editor? It is just really crazy. And again, this is not new. So now people are like, no, he has to go. Washington Post either has to fire him or he needs to resign. I hope this thing is working. You guys are hearing me because my internet seems to be going in and out. So if you guys can just let me know if you're having any issues hearing me, that would be really great. But sorry. Let's see. So Press Watches now says Washington Post publisher Will Lewis pressured former top editor Sally Busby to not run a story about his involvement in a decade-old British phone hacking scandal and forced her out after she defied him. Doing what he did violates a core doctrine of American journalism that editors and publishers are not supposed to interfere in their own newsroom's coverage of issues in which they have personal conflict of interest. It's really about as basic as it gets. And having crossed that line, Lewis should hand in his resignation as a result, or Post owner Jeff Bezos should fire him. Lewis reportedly said Busby's decision to run the story over his objection was a lapse in judgment, but the lapse was all his. The lapse, another part of the article, says the lapse also reflects terribly on two white male former Murdoch henchman friends Lewis hired to replace Busby. Matt Murray, a former Wall Street Journal executive, is serving as interim editor and of the newsroom through November election, when he takes helm of the new, as yet undefined second newsroom. Robert Winnett, who currently edits a conservative British broadsheet glorified tabloid, The Telegraph, will take over the main newsroom after the election. And they were hired because they won't tell their friend and boss no when and if he interferes again. So that's why people are pressing, because again, the credibility of the Washington Post is basically in the balance. So Jeff Bezos, they need to fire him. He's not going to resign. I mean, I seriously doubt he will. They need to first of all, they shouldn't have hired him in the first place. And again, this is not new. If you look at where my arrow is, they hired him in November 5th, as you can see the top here with the arrow. November 5th is when they named him as the CEO. November 7th, he introduced himself to the Washington Post. You can see it below. December 20th. So they've known since December 20th. If they didn't know before they hired him, they knew as early as December 20th who and what his history has been. Says lawyers for Prince Harry and Hugh Grant have alleged in court that the Washington Post next CEO helped Murdoch clean up after illegal stuff, whatever. Couple of things from the article. When the Washington Post owner Jeff Bezos wanted an assured hand to write basically the newspaper shaky finances, he turned to Will Lewis, a 54-year-old former editor of the Daily Telegraph and former publisher of the Wall Street Journal, whom he called exceptional, tenacious. Lewis will start at the Post publisher and CEO in early January. Again, when this came out, Will Lewis didn't start working at the Washington Post. He didn't start until January 2nd. This article is December 20th. So if the Jeff Bezos and his team didn't know about Will Lewis' history before, they knew by December 20th what was going on and they still allow him to run the company, still allowed him to run the news outlet. Says Washington at the bottom clip, it says a different picture of Lewis emerged from the material presented in London's courtrooms in recent months and reviewed by NPR. The man picked to lead the Post, a paper with the slogan "Democracy dies in darkness," stands accused of helping to lead a massive cover-up of criminal activity when he was acting outside the public view. In a lawsuit, News Corp's British newspaper, lawyers for Prince Harry and movie star Hugh Grant, depicts Lewis as a leader of a frenzied conspiracy to kneecap public officials hostile to multi-billion-dollar business deal and to delete millions of potentially damning emails. In addition, they allege Lewis sought to shield the CEO of News Corp's British arm, News UK, from scrutiny and to conceal the extent of the wrongdoing of the News of the World, more profitable sister tabloid, The Sun. This is who they have. I mean, the Washington Post was one of the most, influential and credible news outlets. This is who they've picked. So it's either they don't care about news and journalism anymore, or they're, the Washington Post was already in financial trouble, or they're trying to run it into the ground. Because if you knew this about someone you hired in December and they haven't started working with you yet, why would you allow, this is 7 months, 6 months later, why would you allow this person to still run your news outlet? To where now he is transforming it into the British press by bringing someone who he worked with, that they did something that is completely against the ethical codes in the United States. So it's either they don't care or they're just running the Wall Street Journal into the ground. Not Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post into the ground. It is crazy. It is absolutely crazy. So yeah, and again, Prince Harry, man, it's amazing to me, Prince Harry's court case, the wide-reaching effect it has. And I'm glad the U.S. press is seeing, and it's now everybody is reporting it to see, and people are seeing like, oh my goodness, Prince Harry, this is no joke. This is no joke. And they're now looking at Harry's court case and taking it a lot more seriously than probably they would have, because they're seeing how it's affecting American journalism. So yeah, so kudos to Prince Harry. Keep going, man. Keep going. So yeah. And Scobie chimed in and says, it's not the first time that the Washington Post publisher Will Lewis has engaged in intense efforts to head off coverage about him in ways that many U.S. journalists would consider deeply inappropriate. And again, if you're an editor at a newspaper, you cannot interfere when stuff, because if you notice, when stuff happens with CBS, NBC, whatever, their reporters report on those, because those at the top, you cannot impede on your reporters reporting about you, even if you are the editor or the owner of a paper. So yeah, very, very, very interesting. So we'll see what they mean. Again, this guy either needs to resign or he needs to be fired. So we'll see what will happen with that. Anyways, this more about Prince Harry and his court cases. Glenn Mulcair, one of the guys who went to jail for phone hacking, and part of it is phone hacking Prince Harry, the royal family, and also phone hacking Millie Dowler, and that's how the whole Leveson trial started, because of what he and others did. And so he is now out of jail, I guess, and he is now writing a book and said that he is going to be naming names and exposing what really happened during those times. And apparently he is now testifying on behalf of Prince Harry. So him and others who were doing this stuff is now, I guess they've all had their come to Jesus moments and are now spilling the beans on those who they helped to hack, blag, and do all these criminal things against innocent people. And so this is some of you can go and read all this stuff. It's on Amazon. I think it was Amazon where I saw it. So this is his book that's there. I haven't read it. I just saw this yesterday or a couple of days ago. And so yeah. So these are some of the things he said. He's going to expose the truth behind Millie Dowler's scandals. with new explosive evidence, the horror of being arrested at gunpoint and basically labeled the enemy of the state. They labeled him a terrorist. He says how he became the scapegoat for Rupert Murdoch and Rebecca Brooks, who, he got sent to jail. They got exonerated, I guess. He was twice convicted for the same crime. He's going to be talking about that and how the male, the sun, the male, and the mirror nearly got away with hacking until he blew the whistle. And how he went from being Prince Harry's enemy to ally in the Duke's war for press reform. So all of that stuff and more, I guess, is going to be in his book. It'd be interesting to read it and see what new is revealed there. But again, far-reaching impact on Prince Harry's case, man. There is... Will there be reform? I don't know, because with the Tories are going to be going out, but Labour coming in, and they're not going to change anything because, dude, leader of the Labour is in bed with Rupert Murdoch. You remember him at Rupert Murdoch's party? He was talking about he would be fine to write articles for the Sun and all of that stuff. Nothing will change in this case. I mean, they need to not have Keir Starmer as the leader. Nothing will change. And so I haven't seen anything that is different from him on the Tories. He is just, for me, Tory light, basically. And so who knows if, if anything, but we'll see. But I don't expect any changes with the press, with Keir Starmer there. As with them and the US government, there's going to have to be a massive overhaul of the government for there to be changes. None of the people that are there right now are going to change anything. And so that's as far as I see. But yeah, very interesting. And then these two were doing something yesterday with chocolate medals and whatever. I mean, it was D-Day. And yeah, it just, yeah. That's all I gotta say about these two. They were doing something with chocolate medals. And so yeah. But then this happened. And this, I'm like, you can't take Camilla out of the UK. Just leave Camilla in the UK and she will be fine. The last time we saw Camilla outside of the UK, I tried to be kind to Camilla because she, as someone says, she doesn't travel well. And there's always something when she travels. Because Camilla is, leave the woman in the UK. She is fine in the UK. Outside of the UK is questionable. So this kind of happened, and it's just like, what happened there? It's this awkward thing. There was King Charles at the top, dressed in military uniform, I'm sure having his chocolate medals hooked onto him as well, kissing the First Lady, Mrs. Macron's hand. And Camilla is standing there. And then, I mean, I don't know if this was before or after, but then this very odd video, and many of you may have seen the video. I mean, I'm assuming Duchess of Success may have talked about this, or Byron, and they're laying a wreath, and these are just snaps from the video. I'm not going to post the video because I don't know if the video is copyrighted or not. I'm not getting, I'm not getting penalized for something like that. But anyways, so they're laying the wreath, and that's the First Lady, Macron, there laying the wreath. And then she went to hold Camilla's hand. And I think it was just a human moment in the poignancy of the moment, the seriousness, the sadness, and all of those things. You look for comfort or you look to support, because I think Camilla had either her dad or some family members fought in the war, in World War II and all of that stuff. And I don't know if they passed, whatever. But I mean, obviously by now they passed. And, there was a photo yesterday of her crying, and I'm assuming in memory of that, I guess. But it was one of those moments, and you can understand a human moment. Camilla gave her, you remember that Kate video, video of Kate Middleton in Jamaica, and that culture secretary trying to hold Kate's hand, and Kate refused to hold her hand and sort of trying to pull her hand away from. This is how this kind of felt, and this is what it kind of looked like. Camilla refusing to, reach and have a human moment with Lady Macron, or First Lady Macron. And basically, after a while, I think, guess the first lady realized that, okay, there is no human here. This is like a brick wall. And she just dropped her hand. And so then they stood, having a moment of silence. And before Lady Macron could finish her moment of silence, Camilla just turned and was walking off. And Lady Macron is like, looked around, and Camilla is back turned and she was ready to go. And so Lady Macron had to break her moment of silence to go along. I mean, they're in France, by the way. This is not in the U. They're in France. Camilla is the guest of France. And it's just like, you follow the lead of the people who is the host, your host. You don't decide when you turn around. You wait until the host turn around. That is etiquette. That is a proper etiquette. I don't care if you're queen or not. This is the first lady of France and you are her guest. And I'm like, it just, I don't know, maybe I'm just reading it wrong, but it just felt like she is just rude. This is just so rude. I mean, okay, you don't want to hold hands. You don't have to hold somebody's hands if you don't want to. Maybe Lady Macron's hands were sweaty. I don't know. But goodness grievances, have a human moment with a person by, you're supposed to be paying respect to the fallen. Have a moment of humanity. Have a moment of again, Camilla, I'm sure she is fine in the UK, but can y'all just leave her there? Just leave her there. Do not put her in other people's countries where they have to deal with this nonsense. And then the majority of the British press has basically labeled it an awkward moment. That's the general gist of the majority, which is surprising because you will expect the new normal Camilla snobbed, whatever, or she broke protocol. Oh no, the British press general narrative, as you can see from the Telegraph, that is the general narrative in the UK with their press, is that it was an awkward moment. Not so with the American press, who has again adopted British press nonsense. Just about all of them are reporting that somehow Lady Macron broke royal protocol. I kid you not. The last three posts there, NBC, E! Online, Daily Beast, all U.S. outlets. Bridget Macron breaks royal protocol during meeting with Queen Betty. Not Queen Betty. Queen Betty would at least be a little more gracious with Queen Camilla. The U.S. press, once again, adopting the nonsense from the British press, and are now talking about the Lady Macron, who is the host, breaking royal protocol, trying to hold Queen Camilla's hand. Even the British press isn't reporting that, but American press has to. I mean, this is how far American press has fallen. And this whole nonsense with breaking protocol comes from all of those reporting where supposedly Meghan break royal protocol. And it's just, I mean, back to Camilla. I mean, was she upset that King Charles kissed the first lady's hands? Was she just being, her usual self when she's abroad? Why would she do that? Why? And so I just was like, just don't invite her back, Lady Macron. I'm not, I don't have any skin in this game, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it's just appeared just rude to me. Because again, you are the guest in someone's home. You don't get to dictate when they move. You don't get to dictate. Okay, you don't want to hold her hand. Okay, that's, at least try to be a little friendly. Pat her on the arm, stroke her shoulder, whatever, do something. The host is reaching out to you, reciprocate in some way. Don't just stand there with your hands by your side and then decide to interrupt her private moment and walking away. So she has to interrupt her private moment to walk away with you so it doesn't look really bad. I am as petty as all heck. I would have let her walk and I would have stayed there in my moment and let her put her in that awkward space. I would have done that. But again, I am really petty. And in moments like that, I would have been like, no, let it be exactly what it is. Do not break my moment for her. And I know, you try to, not make things look awkward and you try to mitigate and not. I'm sorry. In those moments, no. Camilla needs to understand. And so I don't know. That's just me. And maybe I'm just hard on her because, I gave her a pass the last time, but not this time. That was just flat out rude. So yeah. And she doesn't have the excuse of, oh, she traveled really far. She's just what I don't even know, a couple of hours from the UK. You get to France. I don't even think it's that long. She doesn't have that excuse of she had to fly 7, 8 hours to get to Kenya. She doesn't have that excuse here. So there you go. What else? That's my take on Camilla and her nonsense. Back to more better things apart from Camilla and her nonsense. World Central Kitchen, they are back to doing what they do best, is feeding the world. They are still in Gaza. And again, if you are looking for organizations apart from all the squatty, ooh, goodness, someone had asked me to post links to squatties. I'm sorry, it's very, very loud. They're doing something outside. And so I apologize if you're hearing loud talking. But uh, someone has asked me to post the links to the different fundraisers, and I completely forgot and literally just now remembered. So I will post that. I will again. You should see the link to World Central Kitchen um, in the description of this page of this podcast. So it should be there. If not, I will post it again in our community page, and so you shall have that. Um, Hold on one second. I am going to have to close this window because this is really, really loud. So give me 1 second and let me close this window. So then I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. Okay, this should be a little bit quieter. I think they're having a little bit of a Friday party outside, so hopefully you guys can hear me. So again, I will post information in our community page about World Central Kitchen and what they're doing. So if you'd like to, it's a great organization. If you'd like to donate to what they're doing and basically feeding the world, that would be awesome. So, but it's good to see them. They're still in Gaza feeding people as best as they can. And I posted this in our community page yesterday, and this will be my required reading for this evening. But Santibali, the youths of Santibali, the youth advocates, they put together this book and it's in PDF form. So you can just download it. I posted the link last night in our community page, so you can just download it and read it. But they put together this book and it says Changemaker is a booklet with stories of hope told by 20 Let Youth Lead advocates. Was launched in Gaborone last week and hosted by Botswana's First Lady, NJ Masisi. The booklet is a powerful compilation of inspirational stories from advocates, many of whom are living openly with HIV, as they share their experience and triumphs, motivating peers facing similar challenges. The launch was featured in national media outlets across Botswana. Congratulations to Let You Lead advocates. You can read the Changemakers booklets on Santibali's website. And so again, the link is in our community page, or you could just go to Santibali's website and find us. And I think it's really, really cool. So you can read about their stories and how they are living and how they have and how their life and how they are inspiring others who are going through the same thing, which I think is so incredible. And again, Santibali is one of the organizations founded by Prince Harry and Princess of Lesotho. So really, really incredible. So I'm so happy for these kids, how they are able to really just thrive in so many ways, and are helping kids as themselves to be able to thrive as well. So anyways, that's it. That's all I got. I'm gonna stay in the chat for a couple more minutes and see what you guys say. I know that was a mouthful and a lot, so we'll see. Wait a minute, we have a troll. Trolls, we don't allow trolls in here, so go away, trolls. If you're here, um we don't allow trolls here. You're free to listen, but you're not free to troll on our platform. We don't take kindly to that here. So yeah, we will take you out, so don't waste your time. So anyways, let's I'm just gonna see what you guys say. Let's see. Wait, Church Nelly is here. I'm gonna scroll up. I didn't see Church Nelly. Huh. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, whoever is on here that's trolling, if you guys can block her, I don't see it. I don't see the post, so I'm sure one of our awesome moderators has gotten the person. So yeah. Anita says Daily Beast, etc. are royalists. Yeah, they are definitely. I mean, Tom Sykes, who writes for the Daily Beast, is definitely a royalist. And yeah, their take on things is like, yikes, yeeks, people. And the Daily Beast, I mean, it used to be an outlet that was so credible. And again, you start messing with the British press. Yeah, this is kind of what happens. I mean, we just talked about the Washington Post. That's why they're in the mess they're in right now. And again, Jeff Bezos might be trying to get rid of this news outlet because again, why would you allow that into your news? So yeah, it's like actively undermining your own credibility. I don't understand that. So yeah. And it says Camilla's behavior at the Commonwealth Service. The woman have unqueen qualityed. Not sure what you mean. Let explain. What did she do at the Commonwealth Service? Do I forget something at the Commonwealth Service? I don't know. What did she do there? Let's see. Um let's see what else you guys are saying. Denise says Camilla did not expect to be a queen, so she would do anything to get respect and attention. Well, this is not very respectful, so I'm not sure. Maybe attention, but yeah, that's not going to get her the respect. Then, not this behavior. And again, look, maybe it's just me. I don't know. I haven't seen other comments on it other than the clips from the news outlets claiming that it was basically the fault of the first lady Macron. I haven't seen other people's take on Camilla's behavior, so I'll have to go on X to see what they say. But yeah, I just I don't see her getting respect for that way at all. I mean, and again, on just a human level, goodness, you're there at a memorial for people who have fallen. So yeah, this is how I felt. It was classless, and that's how it felt. And so, and again, maybe I'm just hypersensitive about stuff like that. So that could be it too. So, um, Anne says Camilla is rude to the host country. Kenya saw her behavior not fit for a queen. Again, I gave her a pass in Kenya only because she did something. We remember her sitting in that car, basically just staring daggers at whomever took that photo. I gave her a pass because again, you do these 3-day tours. She doesn't travel well, and it's she's an elderly person and is traveling 7 hours and then trying to do that crazy amount of engagements they do. She just didn't have a good time in it, and it showed. And I gave her a pass because of all those things. Not this time, because I mean France is right there, so I don't give her a pass on this way this time at all. Yep, TMCD says, didn't she do that in Kenya? I was like, yep, exactly. Exactly. And I was kind to her, much to the chagrin of many of you, because you called me out on it. But yeah, I'm not giving her a pass on this one. Let's see. Let's see. Um maybe she was also upset. I mean, Prince King Charles kissed that lady's hand, so maybe she was upset. I mean, I don't know. I just read into that, but you know, and again, I don't know if Charles kissed her hand before or after this situation, but yeah, it's just really weird that you would do that, and especially when you know cameras are all around you. It just at least, even if you're not feeling it, pretend just for the sake of, you know, whatever. So let's see. Um, what else you guys are saying? Um, let's see. And Lewis says, no paper should have the monopoly on the news. They can manipulate the news and spread propaganda as news. That is very true. That's why I am very surprised that the U.S. has allowed Rupert Murdoch to own so many news outlets. Not only news outlets, but publishing companies and all of that stuff. I mean, he has Fox, he has TMZ, he has the New York Post, he has the Wall Street Journal, he has I forgot the name of his publishing. It's just on and on and on that he owns, and it's really boggles the mind that they have allowed him to own so many things and not broken it up. And so yeah, it's crazy. And then, you know, even thinking of the Washington Post, it's owned by Jeff Bezos, and it's like, well, you know, they haven't been shy in talking about stuff before. I'm assuming they've reported on Jeff Bezos stuff like that. One of the things Jeff Bezos says is he never gets involved in what Washington Post writes. He never, that's what he says. He never gets involved. So he doesn't tell them what they should or shouldn't do. But with this guy in place, he's going, I mean, he already has a history of hiding things and covering up things. So yeah, would expect if they keep him there, that's what he's going to be doing. So yeah, it's just very, very, yeah, I don't understand why they Rupert Murdoch, man, I have no idea why they allow him to own all that stuff. um Someone cursed you out, Mrs. S. Oh my goodness. I'm like, do I even want to know what that's about? That's craziness. Let's see. Karen says, yes, the man who said Harry and Meghan had real threats against them, he was in charge of the country's county terrorism. That's it. County terrorism, and stated people were in prison because of the threats to Harry and Meghan and even Archie. That is absolutely correct. That is correct. Yes, he was in charge of counterterrorism. So for him to say that, and then them knowing that, and then also Clyde Alderton and those guys did not do the risk analysis, and for a judge to know all that and still ruled in favor of Ravek, which shows me, I mean, this judge again is like, for me, it was like, look, I'm not going on vacation. I just want this to end. I'm just gonna rule for the government, and that be that. Because I don't understand how you can rule that, especially when Ravek's own rules say that that's part of it. You have to do the risk analysis. And then it should have given people pause that the people who were supposed to do the risk analysis are the same ones who took away security. That should give everybody pause. that didn't happen. So I'm glad that this judge is like, okay, cooler and wiser heads are prevailing here, because that is craziness. And also, too, we were talking about Charles paying for Prince Andrew's security, because when they were serving Andrew with papers for the Virginia thing, when Virginia's people, the court, they was whatever the people are that serve, serve that you need to go to court, whatever. I am not up on what that is. Summons, I think maybe is what it's called. I don't know, but one of the things I remember is that the Metropolitan Police at the time were protecting Andrew. They were the ones at the gate and taking they were the ones, I think they were the ones that took the summons or whatever that thing is called. They were the ones that spoke to the person who delivered it and took it. So yeah, so I knew, but up until then for sure, that Andrew had Metropolitan Police Department protecting him. So yeah, I don't know if and when that stopped. I don't know. It may still be in place, who knows. But I that's one of the things I was saying, Harry, Harry should definitely know and bring up. So yeah. Let's see. Um let's see. I am scrolling down for a couple more before I end. Oh, thank you so much, Black Queen, our awesome moderators, reminding everyone to please like and share and subscribe and turn on notifications. Thank you so much, and join the channel if you're able. Thank you so much, Black Queen. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I think that's it, guys. Thank you so much. And again, Church Nelly, we're praying for you. And Rafaela, sorry, I had a brain freeze earlier. Rafaela's brother, please pray for Rafaela, her brother, and her family, that he makes it through all safely. Let's see. Yep, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to, again, our awesome moderators, Lydia, Church Nelly, Karen M, Cookies and Cream, Black Queen. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Praying for you, Church Nelly. And hopefully you're back with us. I thought you were in the chat, but I couldn't find you if you're there. So if you were in the chat and I couldn't find you, I'm happy you're better. I'm happy that your surgery was successful. And Lydia, we miss you. Love you and miss you. So anyway, thank you also to our wonderful 2 Cents crew who support the podcast on a monthly basis. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And to all of you who support in the chat, whether it's super things, super chats, super stickers. Oh my goodness. And I almost missed Mrs. S saying thank you for all you do. Thank you for your donation, Mrs. S. I appreciate it so much. And you were also a member for 18 months. I almost missed that too. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you for your support. And I'm going to scroll up because I may have missed. And I had promised I was going to do the slow one today, and I forgot. So that's why. And Lottie, thank you for your super sticker. Thank you so very much. And oh my goodness, Chef Sandy Love, thank you for your super sticker. Thank you, guys. Oh my word, I missed so many things. I have to write myself a note to go on the slow mode so I don't miss all of this stuff. So thank you, thank you, thank you, guys. Again, I appreciate all of you. And yes, thank you so much. Hang on one second. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyway, guys, I love you all. Have a fantastic day, and I will chat with you next time. Bye.